So I'm Roxy Davis. I'm with Cyberjutsu. I am currently the COO of the national org as well as a chapter lead for the Omaha chapter. And I have the pleasure of talking today with
Aleta Ruffin,
yeah,
and I've been a member of Cyberjutsu for 3 years now. I just recently joined the board last year as a member relationship board member. I met Roxy 2 years ago at Black Hat. She was the volunteer. She's on the volunteer committee for that. And me and her worked well together at both years. So we have that good connection ever since.
very true. And I will say we bonded over anime.
And May,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. We already know this.
Yes,
Spy Family is one of my favorite, like cutesy
yes,
things, obviously.
yes, yes.
Speaking of Spy Family, they at Five and Below, they recently had like Spy Family Legos. I just
Really
yes. So I was like, we got some obviously. Okay.
nice.
But it was just like the dad and the couch and the living room, and
Yeah.
it was cute. We were Lego family too.
Oh, very cool. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, like she said, that we are people who met through Cyberjutsu. And I also, as the COO, before the COO, I was the external conference lead. So that meant that I coordinated our members with volunteer opportunities, as well as coordinated the volunteers for those events, but also kept relationships with external conferences like Black Hat or KernelCon or any of the other conferences that we develop partnerships with. But through the wonderful opportunities that Cyberjutsu provides, like Black Hat, with the beautiful partnership of Black Hat, she and I met and we began to talk about our journeys and what brought us to where we're at today. And through that, I have had the privilege of getting to know her and her journey. With that, I want to talk about that today. So, can you share a moment in your journey where you felt like, yes, this is me, this is cybersecurity, this is where I belong,
Yes.
and what led to that moment?
Oh, I have a bachelor's in computer forensics, and my first job in that area was an incident response analyst, college hire for IBM on their incident response team. And the team was all guys. There were no female. I was the only female. They were all guys, and they're all former cops and FBI agents, which was really cool because they would tell me cool stories and things. But then the two seniors on the team developed a incident response course for our clients. So it was a 2-day course. They walked them through Microsoft events and log analysis and timeline and things like that. So they created these labs and they used me to test the labs and walk through the labs. And once I got familiar with them, it got to the point where, okay, she knows the lab, so we could take her with us. So they would take me with them 2 days on site at clients going through the 2-day instant response class. And so they would do the presentation and I would help the clients with the labs, and I was in charge of the equipment also. So at that point, I knew that they trusted me to be hands-on with clients and open to learning and helping and giving ideas for the course. That's when I found out I was like, yes, this is where I belong.
I love that story quite a bit. And I know we have a list of questions that I told you about, but I'm going to sidetrack for just a moment.
Mhm.
Um, with that moment where you're going out to these clients and walking them through and assisting with these forensic trainings, what was there a moment where you were working with a particular student that they were struggling with it, and then you were there at that moment of their aha, and what was that like? And if you remember what particular forensic method, or what, if you remember what you were showing them. And again, I know this is completely off track, so
Yeah, no, so it was a long time ago, so I have to gather my membranes to remember. But I think all clients had issues with the labs. It doesn't matter which one. Event analysis was one of the harder ones because they couldn't figure out where to go in Microsoft to find the event that they were looking for. And also, I would say timeline analysis, and it was nice to watch them get the light bulb in their head because basically we were teaching them how to gather their evidence and get it to us safely and securely so we can have somebody at the office looking at it while we're getting feet on the ground. So
Oh yeah.
that was the point of that. And it was nice to see people engaged in learning how to do that when some of them don't even have any technical experience, but seeing that they were excited to learn that they can do their own investigation, it was really cool.
Yeah. I can only imagine what that might have been like to work with these non-technical people and then have this moment where you see them understand that they can do something that they didn't think that was
Hmm.
possible for them to. So it's just entirely beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's a gift of cyber is that it people think it's like magical voodoo. I say, but they think it's something mysterious and grand, and it is, but it's also not. It's still science, it's still logic. And
Yeah.
if we can learn to do certain processes, then we can teach others, and other people can do that as well. So, again, another reason I love Cyberjutsu is that it brings us together, it brings these moments of stories, but Cyberjutsu is a place where you have the opportunity to learn and train. I've sat through several workshops of the SoCal chapter and such, and it's really cool, especially like the Try It Me walkthroughs with Marcel.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
On to the next question. What is a misconception about working in cybersecurity that you have personally experienced, and how did that impact where you're at today in your journey?
I have to say, many companies don't prioritize cybersecurity as they should, act while they have an incident rather than being proactive. And that's then the goal is trying to teach them clients and customers how to be proactive. Do your cybersecurity awareness training, check your emails, don't click on any old thing. Make sure, if you're not sure where the email came from, don't click on it, don't do anything, just delete it. Or if you're questioning who sent it, call the person that you think sent it and say, "Hey, did you send me this?" It's just those simple steps that can prevent everything for a security incident. And passwords. It's just those simple things. And users and people don't look at that it's the simple things that can help prevent security incidents, you know?
Yeah. Like people tend to think it's this grand big hack or this
Yeah,
one big 0 day, but no,
yeah,
it's the misconception of it. It's super technical, but really it's superhuman. It's they prey on our humanness, really,
yeah.
threat actors. Yeah, no, I very much get that. Just the
And then
simple,
I've
hey.
witnessed a lot of medium to small side companies can't recover from
Mhm.
incident, and it's hard to get back on their feet, their reputation, the money, and a lot
Yeah,
of them just, I hate to say it, but go out of business.
yeah. I think I read about one that was like a code repo years ago. They were hacked, their data was destroyed, and they had to shut down.
Yeah,
But it's simple things. And I think it originated from a phishing email or from passwords being exposed online, like something simple that we could block or secure. And I believe, what was it? Now, I could be mistaken. We'll have to double check me, fact check me later. But I believe it was IBM that said that 90% of breaches came from phishing.
yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I've worked in their incident response, and most of ours, ransomware came from either phishing or password or something. Like there was one case where I never forget this. One of the IT guys actually clicked on something and caused this huge incident, and the head of the IT, he was not happy. You're at IT, you should know better. And yeah, he was not happy.
No, I would say not. No,
Yeah.
I could only imagine being in that
Oh, yeah, that was, yeah,
operations room. Oh my gosh, no. And I would hate that for them because, again, it's so human that they prey on you.
yeah,
And if it was targeted even more, you think it preys on hope, it preys on like urgency and people's natural desire to help others sometimes.
yep, exactly.
But yeah, like you said, it just takes a phone call or a team, like a message, be like, hey, this seems odd for you. Did you send me this? Hey,
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
let's see. Our next question: was there a point in your career and I know there wasn't mine, that you
Yeah.
ever question if this was the right path? Did you ever have doubts about how you would go about navigating that? Yeah.
I am still in that space now. Like I said, I haven't worked in cybersecurity for over a year. I had to take a job that I absolutely hate right now, to make ends meet and things like that. And I am questioning myself every day. But thanks to this organization, to you guys, talking and participating in things and keeping up on the trainings and keeping myself relevant in cybersecurity, I think that that's helping me not detour because I've worked too hard to be on this path and
Yeah,
I don't want to defer from it because the job situation sucks right now.
it does.
Um, and I questioned myself for over a year after all of the rejections, all of the rejection emails, all of this. And again, I am working a job that I absolutely hate because I need the money and benefits right now. And so I'm at the point where I'm questioning myself and I'm trying not to doubt myself. It was really hard. Still is hard.
Yeah,
And so right now I'm doing the AWS cloud training. I'm looking forward to the advent calendar for Try Hack Me.
yeah.
I'm just trying to keep myself relevant. Hopefully in May, I'm looking forward to Secure 360 with their 20th anniversary, volunteering for that. I missed Black Hat last year, so hopefully I get to go this year
I,
and hope to see you there this year. Yes.
I would
And
love
so,
that.
yeah. And so I have to look towards the good things and not dwell on what I'm going through right now. So,
That, yeah.
yeah. So I come home, I do the AWS training, I participate in the meetings and the small tribe. It helps me stay on my path.
So for viewers or listeners, the AWS training is through Cyberjutsu, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the
They're
small tribes
sorry, it's
is,
their cloud training academy.
and so little side, I go on like little side tangents. So with the AWS training, is there anything that you found like super, super cool?
The IAM part was really cool. You know, how you
Oh,
can create groups and create users and attach different policies to those user groups. And it determines what type of access they have within that group.
that's cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty interesting, that part. I just finished that section yesterday. That was pretty cool. I would like to, if I ever have time, I would like to dig deeper in AWS IAM.
Yeah, that's a good thought. I like IAM.
Yeah.
It's very much the core, like the spine. It's not always glamorous, but
No, yeah.
it's very much to the core of security. Like it's people's access, and that's what
Yep.
all threat actors really want.
Yep.
So
If I can get back, even if I can get back into IAM, I think I would be very happy because it is a very important part of cybersecurity because
mhm,
you're letting your people are coming into the company, you're giving them all the access they need for their job. And
mhm.
then when that job's done or they leave, you have to revoke that access and make sure they have nothing that they can get into when they leave.
Right. Yeah. It's very critical.
Yep.
Very critical. And small tribes is Cyberjutsu's group mentorship, like a small group mentorship. And do you mind sharing some of your experience with that?
Yeah, it's just a awesome group of ladies that we get together every week. We talk about our progress in AWS, and then we do different training modules. Mine was about building your LinkedIn brand. So I did a presentation about that. Another young lady did a presentation about taking a job, something about, I think it was like job assessment. Yeah, so that was really interesting. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. So I'll move on to our next question. I feel like we've touched somewhat on some of this, but how has being a part of Cyberjutsu not just shaped your career, but shaped like who you are as a person? So how has it impacted you personally in your life?
It has impacted me so much. Cyber Jitsu, with me being on the board also, is teaching me how to become a leader. You know, is
Mhm.
developing my presentation skills, my public speaking skills. I know I've done at least 3 webinars so far being part of this crowd. Never done a webinar in my life. And so it was a good learning experience. I did a talk by myself about capture the flag events webinar, so that was really cool. And the coolest part about that, young lady reached out to me on LinkedIn, said,
Oh,
thanks to your webinar, I'm so excited. And she did the Halloween on Hack the Box, and she was so excited about it thanks to my webinar. So it
oh,
was just little things like that, I
yeah.
think, is helping me through Cyberjutsu and get to meet wonderful people like yourself and Mary and just yes, and just hanging out. Especially, I get so excited when I go to Black Hat 'cause I get to talk to you guys in person and just hang out and get to know each other. So
Yeah.
Cyberjutsu has helped me a lot, like I said, with leadership and public speaking, but also with training. Through Cyberjutsu, I was able to get the Google Cybersecurity cert. I was able to get the ISC squared certified cybersecurity cert. I'm registered with Google AI. I'm doing AWS training with them. So it's all those things, a combination that they've helped me.
Awesome. I love hearing those moments where I love hearing everybody doing training, and that is beautiful. And growing yourself is really important, but it's the moments where we connect, and it's the moments where you have, Cyberjutsu says, the tribe, but where you have your community, where you have the people coming together, not only to just be together, but uplifting each other and supporting each other and just genuinely being happy to be around each other. And that, that for me, that's been a critical point in my journey because I think I've told you before, I studied for cyber in like in my own room without any group community. And
Same. I studied incident response and they were trying to make me get my GFAC from SANS, but I didn't know how to study for that. I didn't know anything and I didn't have a community to help me to show me
yeah,
how to do that. I understand where you're coming from.
yeah, like I said, it's so wonderful when I hear that people are experiencing the community that I have, and that really motivates me. What unexpected lesson have you learned from working in cybersecurity, and how did that change your perspective?
I will have to say I touched on this earlier, but I still say it. One of my managers once said to me that companies are hesitant to invest in cybersecurity because they
Mhm.
don't see a return. It's just being money poured in, but nothing is coming in return. But they don't understand that we're saving that company money from
Mhm.
ransomware, from reputation, from having your customers' data leaked, all kinds of cybersecurity awareness training, teaching your users how to be safe online, how to not click on this link, how to look at the URL. If the URL looks funny, don't go to it or don't click on
Yeah.
it. Companies don't realize this, those little things that saves them from these incidents.
It reminds me of it reminds me of like insurance. So
Yeah.
you buy this insurance, it secures you, but it doesn't secure you. Insurance is there for in case when something bad happens.
Mhm.
People get in accidents all the time. But it's even better than that. Like a cybersecurity team in your organization is better than insurance because they're preventing accidents from happening. They're preventing those breaches. They're preventing disruption. And it's hard for people to see what you prevent because sometimes you can't always show saying, hey, this threat actor was in and we stopped them because we prevent it before they even get in. Yeah, it's hard to explain or quantify that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's see. What was how dealing with imposter syndrome? I know that's a thing that I first heard about was this guy at CornCon, not ColonelCon. CornCon, it's in Iowa in the Quad Cities, and ColonelCon is here in Omaha. But CornCon, there was this guy speaking about imposter syndrome, and I was like, "What is this?" And he began to talk about how he had feelings of just not being as expert as people were expecting him to be, or just not being at the same level as people are not enough. So, have you experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, how have you navigated or overcome it? Or when you experience it, how do you get past that moment?
So for me, I don't think this is count as imposter syndrome, but I do have a habit of comparing my skills to other people's skills. And then I start feeling inadequate because they know how to do something or they're way above where I am. And so that's where that inadequacy comes in at. And then I have to stop and think to myself that I bring something different to the table than that other person does. I can't look at it like that. Oh, they know more than me. So what am I doing here? Kind of thing. So I have to stop doing that to myself. And it's hard when when you're in your head all the time. It's hard to stop doing that. But how I overcome it is by again stopping to compare myself and just think about what I bring to the table and not what somebody else brings to the table. We're all unique in our own way. Somebody is always going to know more than somebody else. It's just that you have to be happy at what you bring to the table and know what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah, you have to take in those moments and be like, we're all individuals, we're all unique perspective human beings, and what I have is not going to be what they have, and
Yep,
what they have is not going to be what I have, but I have something unique to myself to give. Is that
exactly.
awesome? I like
Exactly.
that quite a lot.
Yeah,
It's something that everybody else can really take into themselves and be like, in this moment, maybe I'm not at their level, but I'm better than I was yesterday.
yeah,
And it's unique to me. It's not about them. So I like that.
yeah, yep.
So, what's a piece of feedback you received or advice you received and that has impacted you and how you are in cybersecurity?
I'll have to say good critical criticism. In this field, you have to, in any job, anywhere, you have to learn how to take criticism because they're not bringing you down. They're trying to help you improve. And
Hmm.
so I'm very good at listening and taking criticism and correcting those behaviors.
I like that. Yeah, feedback is critical to growth.
Yeah,
If we don't know something, just like in cybersecurity, if you don't know there's a threat actor in the system, how are you going to prevent that threat? Like, how are you going to stop them? You need to know to be able to make corrective actions.
yeah,
So
correct. Yep.
I like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
If you could go back to the very beginning when I may have skipped a question, but let me see. I did. Let me go back. So, what does leadership look like to you, and how does cyberjutsu help you grow in your cybersecurity leadership journey, or just your overall leadership journey?
So again, I think we touched on this other year, but Cyberjutsu is shaping me to be a good leadership, being a good leader. It means being a good listener. It means value opinions of other people and lifting your team up.
Yeah,
And I think that Cyberjutsu has helped me in that regard, being on the board and just listening and helping where I can, being part of this great organization, just meeting all kinds of like-minded people and just sharing opinions and ideas. That helps tremendously gaining leadership skills.
yeah, I definitely agree. Within cyberjutsu, having the moments where you're able to connect with others and listen first, like you said,
Mhm.
listening to others, developing your listening skills, it's critical to being an effective leader because you got to hear the people around you to be able to help them grow. And that's the whole point of a leader is helping the people that you are leading as well as following and listening to the important core concepts of the organization that you're a part of.
Yeah.
Let me see. I skipped the question. Now I'm coming back to it and I completely lost it. If you could go back to the very beginning of your cyber career, and if I could go back to mine, oh my goodness. Uh,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
like I will side tangent. I thought like at the very beginning that I would be like taking away and very little policy. I wouldn't write documents. No, I'm going to be in computers all the time. No, okay.
Yeah, so if I could go back, I would tell myself to learn how to study independently. That's a big one, especially when you're studying for these certs and everything. You have to learn how to study independently because the knowledge is fast coming. You have to find a way to retain it and study it and gain your cert. And also, I would tell myself, go back to be either a network administrator or a systems admin or what was it? I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, network administrator, systems administrator, or infrastructure administrator. So you can learn the ins and outs of how the infrastructure is built, or learn the ins and outs of the network, or learn the ins and outs of servers and VMs, things of that
Yeah,
nature.
I agree. Like knowing the infrastructure, knowing how things connect, knowing just even like what the log for an event looks like.
Yeah.
Just
Hmm.
core concepts, fundamental
Yep,
concepts
exactly. Yep.
is important. Help desk. Oh, they see so
Yeah,
much.
help desk. Yeah, yeah.
And those are good roles to give you those experiences. I will caveat that just because somebody's in a help desk doesn't mean that cybersecurity is the next step in their journey. They
Mm-mm.
might want to go and be a system administrator. They might like staying in help desk. So
Yeah,
whatever works for them.
yep. But if you're going for cybersecurity, I think that's a good starting point.
It is, yeah. Having that system admin experience, knowing how to do an update,
Yeah,
just
yep.
simple things.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, what's something people might not realize about the emotional and mental state of cybersecurity work? That is,
Yeah, people fail to understand when you're in cybersecurity, you're always on. There's no off button. There's no putting down your phone. There's no
mhm,
ignoring emails. You don't go home at night and just watch TV. You're
no,
either on your emails or you're studying for something or you got a
yeah,
lab to do. There's no off. But for me, I have to learn how to pace myself.
mm,
So I would have to you have to handle clients, and some clients are very frustrating. And so you have to come home and release that. Yeah, cybersecurity is not as rainbow and bright color as people think it is. Yeah,
I like,
yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
go ahead.
I was just going to say that I really like how you touched on pacing yourself. I know burnout's a big thing in this industry, huge thing in this industry because there's so much information you can learn. There is so much more that you will never learn because it's just ever growing and ever changing. So, pacing yourself, making sure you find the balance or the flow that works for you. And your balance may be 20/70 or 70/20, and it seasons that fluctuation may change. But burnout is, like I said, a real problem. So finding
Yeah,
what works for you and regulating that is going to be critical to the emotional state because it can be heavy, and
it
you're
is.
responsible for like critical systems, and knowing that what you're doing is securing not only thousands of people's jobs if you're at a larger enterprise, but you're also securing thousands and thousands their customers' information, their customers. If you're at a financial enterprise, their financial information.
And not even just that, but their reputation as a company as a
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that could make or break the organization.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of mental load and pressure, but like you said, organizations don't even realize sometimes the value in what cybersecurity does for them until they experience that moment of fear that comes with a hack or a data loss event or something like that. We talked about handling this mental load. How do you manage that mental load?
I try to make it a point to separate home life from work life.
Yeah,
I take mental health days
that's
when
good.
needed to recover from those tough situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and you have to try to have the evenings and the weekends to yourself. That's what you have to do. Sometimes it's not doable, but
Yeah.
it's a thing that you just have to do. But like I said, in cybersecurity, you're always on. You get that phone call 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, or you get that email. So
Yeah. It happens. I've had
yeah.
the
Hmm.
moments where I've been on late, and woke up early.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that. How do you balance? Like we talked about pacing yourself. How do you balance like learning so much in this fast pace environment we have?
So for me, I set myself a schedule. Before I started working, I would like the mornings would be training starting at 11 because I have a cat that I have to take care of in the morning. So
Yeah.
by 11, after her treat, she's ready to lay down, she's ready to nap. So during
Yeah.
that time, the computer comes on, I'm training. I'm training until I get to a point where I can know it's a good stopping point or till at least 4, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And
Oh wow.
then so I do it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday is evenings to myself. And I don't do anything on the weekends unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah. I apologize for taking some of your weekend.
Oh, no, this is fun.
That's good.
Training
I'm
stuff.
glad.
Yeah, this is fun. I like talking to you, Roxy. You know
Yeah.
that.
And
Any
I
opportunity I get to connect with you, I'm happy to do it because, again, I missed you last year, so I'm trying to make up that time.
I did. Oh man.
Yeah.
Same. Oh goodness. What's a challenge, a specific challenge that you faced that made you feel vulnerable or out of your depth, or just like that moment where your stomach sinks, your heart sinks to your stomach, you're like, oh gosh, oh no.
Yeah, I think in my head, I think how can I explain this? I know more than what I think I know.
Uh-huh.
And I get scared when somebody asks me a question that I should know it, but then I get nervous. And then after the question's asked and it pops in my head, I'm like, oh, damn it, I knew that question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna admit networking is my weakness. So when somebody asks me a networking question or anything, I know some of it, like a little bit of basic networking, but as soon as that question come, I just like, oh my God, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a moment, I'm going to share this, when it was one of my very first interviews, and I'd already had my security plus. I knew this material, okay? I knew it, but I was panicked. It was my first interview in cybersecurity, and they asked me a basic question. And I'm so embarrassed to admit this, but they asked me what the CIA triad was. I was like I completely blanked.
Yeah.
And it was a basic question. And I knew
Yeah.
this. I'm like, what is going on? I'm yelling at myself in my head. I'm like, you know this. Why are you not saying this is even
Yeah.
oh
Yeah, and that's the nerves. The nerves will get to us, and it makes us forget some of the simplest questions. And it's terrible because after the interview, you think back, oh, this is what I should have said, kind of thing.
yeah. I will never forget it. It was I
Yeah,
was so like, oh my God, what am I even doing?
yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. How has participating in cybersecurity influenced your sense of community and support in a typically traditional male dominated field? For me, it's given me a sense of where cybersecurity is very male dominated typically. Some
Hmm.
organizations have more female presence or more women presence than others, but sometimes at the end of the day, it's just nice to talk to somebody that has typically the same like cultural perspective or as I do. So,
Yeah.
how about you? How has cybersecurity, being a typically male-dominated field, how has cyberjutsu influenced and supported you in that?
I've always been like a guy girl, so
Yeah,
I don't care about being the only female on a guy's team. Because, no offense to you or the women in our
yeah,
organization, but for me, I always got along better with men than women. And being on the only female on a male dominated team doesn't bother me. And I have the double whammy because I'm also African American and a woman. So I have the double whammy.
yeah.
And so it doesn't bother me. After a while, you just get used to it. Half of my classes, there were females in there, but most of the time I was the only African American in there.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
you just roll with the punches, show what you know, bring your value to the table, and they will respect you and just listen to everybody, take their opinions in, get advice, give advice. It'll
Yeah.
it'll work out. To this day, I have one guy that used to work for IBM. To this day, we're like this. He's like my
Yeah.
second brother. He's an ex-cop. We text each other all the time. We talk to each other every once in a while. Yeah, those one of those relationships I will always have with him.
So yeah,
Yeah, him and his wife,
I
they're awesome. Yeah.
I have developed a lot of friends that are male, and there are moments where I definitely understand. Like I was the tomboy for a few phase of my younger years, and then I went. But we're all evolving human beings that change and grow with time. I have very close guy friends now through cybersecurity
Mm-hmm.
industry. Sometimes if I'm going to an event, I'm like, what do I wear? I'm not going to ask them because they're going to be whatever. But I'm going to ask my other female friends that may be going, my other women friends, and be like, oh, it's typically business attire, but it's like casual business attire. They give me a really good feel of the environment I'm walking into, and that's
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's fun being in a field that's dominated by men for me.
Mhm.
Because I get to talk to them and learn about their experience from their side and their
Yeah,
perspective. And like I said, a lot of them come from FBI backgrounds and
yeah.
police officer backgrounds and things like that.
So I've
So,
noticed that I've had
yeah,
several like people that were previously police officers and that are now in cybersecurity. I would just wouldn't have thought that,
yeah.
but
But
yeah,
it's the investigative part that they bring to the table
mhm,
for
yeah,
cybersecurity.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That
So
makes a lot of sense.
it doesn't bother me. I like to hear their battle stories, the ones that they
Yeah,
can tell kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't get that. Yeah, I've
Oh,
had.
there are some good ones I've heard. So yeah.
So moving forward, looking forward to your future, what excites you most about cybersecurity and cyberjutsu, like together and individually?
I'm excited by about Cyberjutsu and the growth and the future that it holds. I'm hoping our community gets better. I hope we can come together more and do more exciting things. One of these days, hopefully they can get like a recruiter on our in our environment and help some of these people navigate through getting hired in the cybersecurity world kind of thing. And as for cybersecurity itself, I am excited about what AI and cloud's going to do in the future for cybersecurity.
Yes, I'm excited about both of those things,
Yeah,
especially in Cyberjutsu, about it just growing it and getting everybody together in moments where we can. I love our community, and I love
same.
our leader, Mary Galloway.
Mary is awesome. Like
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
she is. I call her spicy positivity. She knows this. I told her to her face. Well, right to her face.
Yeah, Mary
She,
is awesome. Yeah, she's phenomenal. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I didn't ask this of you in our like prep notes. So if you don't have anybody off the top of mind or you want to message me later, is there anybody you would like to hear their story and their journey? Is there anybody you would like to nominate? Or it could be one, it could be many, but is there anybody you want to hear these conversations about?
I would like to hear I would like to hear Mary's journey, actually. I know she got this big cybersecurity lead at Foot Locker, but I would like to hear her journey. I think hers would be interesting, I think.
Yeah, I'll wrangle her then.
Yeah. If you can, I know she has hard enough time squeezing certain things in,
Yeah.
but if you can get at least 10-15 minutes or ask her 3 to 5 questions about her journey, I think that would be good.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you talking with us today. And if anybody online or listening has questions for her, please message us in our Slack or at info@womenscyberjitsu.org, and we'll filter these questions to her. If you want to share your contact information, I know you're on LinkedIn,
Yes, I am on LinkedIn.
and we'll
If
share
you,
it with us. If
hmm?
you, we'll share it along with this, any contact information you want to
Yes.
share. But for those listening, you're on LinkedIn. Do you have a particular handle on LinkedIn?
They can find my name, just Aleta Ruffin, and they can search me.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you talking with us today, and I look forward to meeting you again and connecting with you, hopefully, like that. Um,
Yes.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.